Jackson Podcast.
Hope y'all having a great day today, man. I got a great discussion for y'all that happened in my hometown, man, of Knoxville, Tennessee, on the campus of University of Tennessee. So I was looking at this and I seen this young black brother. He's a college student. He approached this man. I have no clue who Charlie Kirk is, but we're going to read his Wikipedia, some of the things he's achieved and some of the programs and situations that he's a part of. But looking at this video, I come to realize that people who haven't never experienced financial uncertainty will never understand the people who has. It's just that simple. But let's get into the video, man. Let's check it out. Are reparations just reverse inheritance? Let's go.
What's going on, man? Doing all right. Welcome to Knoxville. I'm up here for one purpose. My buddy is a friend of yours. He lives up in White Pine, and he wants me to have this discussion with you because me and him had this discussion this weekend. What are your thoughts about reparations for Black people specifically, and like Black Americans specifically? What is your
Very much against.
Very much against. Can I ask why?
Well, first and foremost, I don't believe that we should ever pay monetary damages to people where nothing bad happened to them, just because they are related to a group of people where something bad happened to them.
Okay. So
Because it separates the idea. Let me just finish, and then I'll throw it back to you.
Absolutely.
Our justice system, when properly understood, is about individuals receiving justice, not tribes or groups receiving justice.
Okay. Also, I want to state that just
I gotta speak before this brother even asked his next question, because that was interesting how he tried to separate the children of the people who was mistreated by time frames and all of that. But you can't separate the people who have inherited, and you don't want to separate the people who've inherited and benefited from this system, from their rewards or from what they have reaped. But you want to separate the people who suffered, who had things removed out of their life, who had damage done to them and to the people who came before them. It's interesting that he says that, but let him keep going, because I got some things to say about this. But one thing I also don't like looking at this is that they got him exalted and got him to the point, the brother, where makes him feel like he got the opportunity to speak to this person who's exalted above him or over him. One thing I don't miss about my hometown, it's a powerful place too. But one thing I don't miss is like the non-diversity. And I was born and raised there. I didn't choose that place. So I got the hell on, but I felt out of place when I was living there. I felt like it wasn't nobody there who wanted to look out for my interests, who cared about me. It was just, it's like, if you do the research, I don't even want to speak about the percentage of population based upon race there. But if you check it out on your own time, man, you'll see why I felt like I was out of place. Let them talk. Let's let them cook.
because I am a Black man, I do not speak for all Black people. So I'm just this.
I like this guy. You should give it up for him.
Just want to say that for the record. I'm speaking for myself. So, all right. So definitely hear you on that. And even for me, when it comes to reparations, for me personally, I don't believe that it should be a check. I think that reparations can look like many different things, whether it's like investment in institutions, more like, better schools, hospitals, all that kind of stuff. So my question to you is like, so since you are against reparations, would you say that we should be would you be for outlawing inherited wealth? Does that make sense?
Well, no, I'm not for outlawing that. And those are two different things.
Can I explain my point though? All right, so my point to that is that, okay, so what I hear for the argument against reparations is that, okay, Black people today, obviously we weren't there, for slavery, segregation, all of that kind of stuff. So we've done nothing to deserve that, because all the people who probably should have gotten it, actually not even probably, who should have gotten it, are, either long gone or whatever. Now there's still some who are still with us today, but that's a conversation for another day. But my point is that, so inheritance and inherited wealth is something that, the great grandfather, whatever, is passed down. Homeboy who is here today did nothing to deserve that multi-billion-dollar business, but he gets it because of his bloodline. Correct? Is that how it?
Yeah,
that's
exactly.
how inheritance works, right?
Yeah, no, like Bronny James is going to get $1 billion.
Right. Yeah. Oh, I mean, yeah. Sorry. Great example. So what I'm saying is that, like, but I guess what I'm trying to say is that, like, I believe that reparations in and of itself, one, I don't think that the argument is formed right, and two, I believe that, you know, it's kind of a reverse inheritance, if that makes sense, where it's like where it's like, you know, yes, black people, like me personally, yes, I did not have to suffer through Jim Crow, slavery, or whatever, but all those choices that were made in those times have, like, gotten necessarily me to where I'm at now.
Got
So
it.
it's
So,
like,
so let me tell you where we have a difference of opinion.
Okay, absolutely,
Okay?
absolutely.
So we as conservatives tend to underemphasize this idea of many legacies of suffering. Whereas people on the left, not saying you're on the left, but the other
I'm
perspective.
definitely not.
No, for sure. But that's fine. No, that's fine. Let's just say the other side of the argument tend to emphasize that you are stuck because of something that happened to you many generations prior. We believe, absent very unique circumstances in the United States of America, that is almost never true. For example, we think every individual should be judged by their own actions, their own character, and their agency. Now, let's play this out, though. You're acting as if, not you, but let's say the argument, because you're coming after this in a great way, there's been like no money sent Black America the last 60 years. We have spent over $25 trillion on Black America in 60 years, and Black
I gotta stop him because he's leading me to so many different points of attack and of critique and questioning. You know, the brother asked a valid question, and he isn't answering the question. I ain't let him finish though. He might get to it in the end, but he isn't answering the question. And saying that we have specifically, we have is not accurate because the reparations isn't coming specifically from people. It may be through tax dollars or whatever. It may be affecting people through tax dollars, but the people who's receiving the reparations also will be affected because they are taxpayers also. So basically, you're saying that majority of Black people don't pay taxes. I'm a tax-paying citizen and I pay high amounts of taxes. And I would be willing to pay taxes to repair the damage that was done to a group of individuals before I be willing to let my tax dollars fund wars and do things that I'm not in agreement with. It's just interesting the thought process of people like this, though. But let them finish.
America's poorer than before we started. We're talking about Medicaid, food stamps, we're talking about schools, public housing. The issue is not the amount of money. The issue has instead been a couple things. Number one, it's been the downfall of the Black family. And unfortunately,
Yes, I agree with that.
Yeah, the more money we've spent on this, we've seen the downfall of the Black family.
I apologize, y'all. I gotta keep stopping them though, because what caused the downfall of the Black family? I'm a product of it. I talk about it a multitude of times on my channel. The welfare system that was created, the only way that you could receive those benefits is if you remove the father from the home. The only way you can get that welfare, those food stamps, that free living and that assistance is if you remove the father from the home. Whose fault is that? Is it the government fault or the father's fault? Because the father still could have been in the child's life, but the father couldn't be in the child's home.
Just some numbers super quick. Is that in 1964, right before the passage of the Civil Rights Act, 75% of Black youth had a dad around. Now it's 25%. So only 25%. So 1 in 4 kids have a dad around. Black dads are no longer a big part of young kids' life. It's a very big problem that has huge ramifications. Then finally, on the reparations argument, that comes into just more like concrete questions. Where do you draw the line? Who defines it? And also, why would you tax, for example, somebody like me? My ancestors fought on the Union side of the Civil War, so I got to go pay more money, even though my ancestors did the right thing. No offense if you guys fought for the Confederacy. That's not trying to, drum up any, it's all good. We're all Americans now. I'm not. Why should I have to then go pay for something that my ancestors did correctly? Finally, it's like, how do you prove it? Like
I'm gonna put the link in the description, but sometimes I get sick of this shit. Look at his face. That let you know this is an asshole. Look at his face. How I got him paused on the screen right now. Like it. My ancestors was on the right side of the thing. because they fought for the Union, my ancestors. Man, you want to highlight your ancestors for what they did good or what you perceive that they done good, but you don't want to repair what happened to our ancestors. That is like a strike for you to get spit in the face or shot at or beat up. That could provoke violence. Speaking like that to somebody, like you shouldn't repair what was done to my ancestors, but my ancestors fought on the right side of the line. Man, stop. Then he's getting ready to. I'm stopping it too much because I already done took notes and talking points for this show. But he talk about the justice system, about individuals to tribes. The justice system was created to protect individuals, not groups receiving justice. You know, when we think about the justice system, it's acting and it's doing everything accurately based upon what they want to happen. But if you're speaking about black dads not being in the house, let's talk about the justice system and the laws that was created to keep black dads out the house. Fuck, nigga.
This is not your argument, but it's a hilarious contradiction. The very same people who tell you that voter ID is racist want all of a sudden black America to prove that they're the descendants of slaves 7 generations ago. Like, let me go get my paperwork together. I thought it's racist to ask people for their paperwork. Anyway, the whole thing's crazy. But here's the more important thing that I think we can agree on. Okay. That we should have a opportunity colorblind compact. We need to have school choice in this country so kids can go to better schools and have more mobility. Number 2, reconstitute the black family. And finally, this is one that you might agree on because you're not a liberal, is that we need to no longer import foreigners that are going to undercut the wages of workers of all races, especially black Americans.
I agree.
And so what we've done is we imported Nicaraguans and Guatemalans to come take low-wage labor, and we didn't want to pay our own Americans those jobs. So final thoughts on those points.
Also, great points. I would say that I am with you for the idea of a colorblind society. I think it's a bit of a farce to say that colorblind society is something we should aspire to, but I think it's a farce to think that it doesn't exist, that race doesn't play a factor. I totally
agree.
Okay, and so
I will say it plays far less of a factor 10 years ago. It's playing more of a factor today.
Yes, I agree.
In a negative way.
Yes, I 100%. I mean, I think you had mentioned something about DEI like earlier, and I was like, for sure, like the way I agree with DEI in principle, but I think the way it's been instituted by our government and all the other institutions is completely wrong. So, because for me, it's not about seeing color; it's how you treat color. Does that make sense?
Everyone's going to see color. And
exactly,
you're right.
Yeah,
and so here's.
I'm gonna say something that a lot of people may disagree with, but some, if few, may understand my perspective and my thought process behind this, and they may understand it. I feel like the farther we are removed from the impact that not just slavery, because people like to combine slavery into why reparations are deserved, when I feel like the experiments that was going on with black Americans in prison has an impact. I feel like the civil rights era integrating us, the only race to integrate with the Caucasian race. And it doesn't even have nothing to do with race, really. It has something to do with integrating with the power structure and the political structure of America. Also, the welfare system, removing the dads out the home to keep people controlled and contrived and giving them minimal resources just so they can barely survive and not get them educated and put them into programs and things had a major impact. Removing the dads and the prison system got something to do with it also. But, you know, a colorblind society, let's all be real. America is in totality an experiment. The reason I say America is an experiment is because racism is going to exist forever. As long as people see color, as long as people identify that we're divided and we're not the human race first, because you got to go to the root first, we're the human race first. Then when we talk about schools, you'll have to end the private and public school situation to be able to integrate people in these higher level education schools, and you have to make it free, because I will agree with them on that aspect. The school system is fucked. And I didn't like when he talked about no longer import foreign workers, because if you feel like you shouldn't import foreign workers, you feel as if those jobs are specifically for us to do until the end of time, till Earth explodes. No, Black people want to be equal. We want to feel as if we're equal. We have been contributing to the American structure system for decades and decades and decades, and damn near built the structure of this country. So we want to be treated as equal. We want to sit down on those high paying jobs with the AC blasting too, and make decisions and have our voice be heard. We also want to contribute to that, and we want to create our own entities and be successful in that and not be bothered. You know what I'm saying? So I really don't agree with that. No longer import foreign people to do those jobs. Yeah, import them, but make sure that they legal. Make sure that they obeying the laws, and get them situated too. Also in that, because we want to feel equal. We've been here for a long time. So let me let them finish up, man. I want to know your thoughts in the comment section for real about this episode, specifically about your thoughts about reparations. And how will we get to obtain reparations? Should we continue to converse about reparations, or are we just wasting time? Because I'm at a point right now where I'm going to talk about it more and more often and bring up more and more of these debates on my channel. We did the reparations conversation with Bill Maher and Killer Mike, and over 2,000 of the people who has recently subscribed to my channel, y'all came from that video. Salute to y'all. I appreciate y'all. So if these the conversations y'all want to hear, we're going to have more of them. If y'all want me to do them live and have a call-in number to it, so y'all can call in and give y'all perspective on it, let me know, and we'll schedule the date so we can converse about this. But let me finish up and let him finish up, and then I'm going to read a part of his Wikipedia to y'all so we can know who this guy is.
It's an ideal that is admirable, being colorblind.
Right.
The problem with what we were promised with the Civil Rights Act, we were promised a colorblind society. We now have a color-obsessed society. And it's a breakdown of that promise. Instead, the country I grew up in, at least, was like, yeah, you're black, but it doesn't matter. It's not the most important thing. Instead, it's, are you a good person? How do you act? How do you treat other people? Are you a Christian? Like, what is your worldview? I want to get back to that. Of course, we're still going to see differences, but I want to de-emphasize them to a place where we look at each other as fellow human beings. And
I agree with everything he said on the ending, to be honest with you. I can't disagree with the civil rights was meant to create a colorblind society, and that's not what happened. That is exactly not what happened. But I want to read a little bit of his Wikipedia so we can know who this guy is. If y'all already know who he is, inform me on this guy. Charles James Kirk is an American conservative political activist, author, and right-wing populist. Media personality with Bill Montgomery. He co-founded Turning Point USA in 2012, for which Kirk serves as executive director. He is the chief executive officer of Turning Point Action, Turning Point Academy, and Turning Point Faith, president of Turning Point Endowment, and a member of the Council for National Policy. So this guy was born in 1993. He's just 31 years old, talking about the America he grew up in. The America you grew up in hasn't changed for black people. It may have changed for y'all, but it hasn't changed for black people. It's still the same. It's more heightened. You didn't grow up in the civil rights era to be speaking as if you grew up in that era. So occupation, political activist. Okay. Kirk was born and raised in Chicago, suburbs of Arlington Heights and Prospect Heights, Illinois. In high school, Kirk actively engaged in politics, supporting Mark Kirk's U.S. Senate campaign and campaigning against a price increase in the school's cafeteria. He briefly attended Harper College before dropping out to pursue political activism full-time. Influenced by Tea Party member Bill Montgomery in 2012, Kirk founded TPUSA, a conservative student organization that quickly grew with backing from donors like Foster Friess. As TPUSA CEO, Kirk has expanded the organization's influence through initiatives like the Professor Watch List and School Board Watch List. While raising millions in donations in 2019, Kirk founded Turn Point Action, a political advocacy arm, and later formed Turning Point Faith, aimed at mobilizing religious communities on conservative issues. Kirk hosts the Charlie Kirk Show, a conservative talk radio program. Kirk has publicly promoted conservative and Trump-aligned causes and criticized the COVID-19 response, critical race theory, and the science consensus on climate change. Okay. We're going to get more informed on this guy, though. But, man, in closing, I want to say thank y'all for tuning in to my show. Reparations is a debt owed, and it's deserved. We'll be back, man, with more conversations. If you're new here, hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, and make yourself a part of the family membership. We got the membership growing also. I have just a few people in the membership section, though, but I'm very appreciative to the people who spending $5 a month, $15 a month for some exclusive content. We appreciate y'all, man. Peace, love, plenty of abundance. Make sure you go get you some money, and I'm gone. Tip.
The Trevor Jackson Podcast.